Before borders, there were footprints in the sand and stars to steer by. On a windy shore at first light, a small band huddled around a fire. Their journeys stitched continents together long before maps were ever drawn. But in favored valleys, seeds and patience began to hold wandering feet in place. The great shift from hunting to tending the land had begun. Hands pressed wet earth in the Fertile Crescent, along the Yellow River and high in the Andes. Farming sparked independently across the globe, and with surplus came settlement. Villages thickened into towns, and granaries required guardians. With more mouths to feed and memories to keep, communities needed new ways to maintain order. The foundations of civilization were being laid. A scribe dragged a reed across wet clay. Writing turned promises into records, and records into power. Bronze, then iron, sharpened both plows and spears. From the Nile to the Indus, laws codified fairness and control. What turns a settlement into a state if not shared rules and the means to enforce them? Soon ideas would travel as eagerly as goods. Along the Silk Road, paper kept thoughts light, and a compass steadied the traveler's hand. On the Indian Ocean, monsoon winds filled sails, carrying not just spices, but the tenets of Islam, building networks of trust from reef to river mouth. Across the Sahara, caravans of salt and gold moved with the wisdom of Judaism and Christianity, turning oases into centers of learning. Empires rose to tax and protect these vital corridors of commerce and conscience. Great realms like the Persian, Roman, and Han standardized roads, coins, and calendars, but eventually cracked under their own weight. Disease traveled with the wagons, and drought withered the harvest. As they faded, new centers of culture flourished. In the cities of the Gupta, the clearings of the Maya, and the markets of the Song, art and mathematics blossomed.
We still live in their network of supply chains, alphabets, and calendars. In a world of modern shocks, their lessons in resilience feel urgent. In the 16th century, the oceans that once separated worlds became bridges. This was the Columbian Exchange, a vast, chaotic transfer of crops, animals, and people. But it also carried pathogens that shattered empires. Sugar fields rose on the backs of millions forced across the Atlantic in chains, while silver from mountain mines fueled a new global economy. By 1517, ideas rode these same currents, triggering revolutions in thought and power. Printing presses and workshops hummed with new energy. The Enlightenment championed reason and rights, challenging ancient thrones. A declaration in one port was answered by revolt on a distant island. Factories running on steam and coal drew millions into cities dense with soot and schedules. Who would own this new future? Kings, markets, or citizens? This faster pace forged nations and empires, amplifying both cooperation and conflict. Railways and gunboats carved up continents. From 1914 to 1945, total war and genocide redrew the map of the world in blood. A Cold War then held humanity in a fragile balance, haunted by the atom. In its wake, globalization sent data and finance across the planet at the speed of light, weaving cultures together as never before. That is why today's challenges, pandemics, climate change, mass migration, feel like echoes from our shared past. Debates over the code of life and the minds of machines reprise the old tensions between faith, reason, and power. The currents of history are accelerating, and the story is far from over. The question now is who will steer us into what comes next.